I'm installing the downpipe today. And in this video, I think I'm gonna also install the intercooler, but I haven't purchased that yet because I'm really scared of cutting stuff, but kinda excited. I doubt the downpipe's gonna really do anything, but we'll see. This is the stock downpipe with the BORLA exhaust. I did most of the boring stuff last night, so obviously taking off all this because I have to actually get to the O2 sensors, which are right there. But another thing is that I'm just a person who doesn't want to script O2 sensors since they are literally such a sensitive sensor. They're also quite expensive. So I unplugged the battery. Just took off the negative terminal. So now that we got all that going, gonna be a whole lot of dismantling on the underside, and it's no joke. I think I have to take off this underskirt again. And then the sub plate. It'll be a little bit. So when I get that stuff off, we'll pick up the camera. Quite a big problem I've just run into. And this is super unfortunate. But the downpipe, there's two V-band clamps, one by the turbo and the one that's by the exhaust. Well, obviously I got one off, and well, let's just see. So you see how the exhaust is disconnected? That's good. See how the O2 sensors are not disconnected? That's good for right now. This V-band clamp that's on the turbo, something tells me that it's been messed with already, because here's what I'm finding out. It's not visible. I should say this actually. The V-band clamp is visible, but the nut and bolt to get the V-band clamp off is not visible. And I think I can see the bottom actually on the bottom of the downpipe, which means that it's actually towards the engine. So there's a very strong possibility that this is not gonna happen. But just to confirm my theory, we're gonna use a little camera. If that really is the case, there's not gonna be a downpipe for a very, very long time. Because I actually genuinely would have to take off oil lines and all that stuff just to put downpipe in. The V-band clamp bolt on an N55 is a 13mm. It appeared to me that this was literally facing towards the engine block and not the sidewall or the heat shielding of the engine bay, which would have been easier. Well, obviously I'm stupid and I don't know what I'm talking about, and it was actually in the right spot. Nobody had touched it, even though I had thought somebody had moved it. So this was actually one of the cleanest and easiest installs of my entire life. It took in total about 2.5 hours, but as you can see here with the camera, this is the O2 sensor, and I'm just really hoping at this current moment that I can get this downpipe in. Got the underplate off. You guys are not gonna believe this. So I think without, like, obviously I like to make my life harder for myself than anything, and that's just a normal thing for me. Man, that's a lot of oil seeping out of this guy though. That's not good. Jesus Christ. Well, hopefully that's fine-ish. I mean, it seems a little bit excessive, but all right. Well, this is what I wanted to show you. So if you come in the wheel here, and right there is the V-band clamp 13mm bolt. Literally in plain sight. Super easy to get to. So if you're smart enough and you take off this brace, which is underneath the engine, it actually doesn't hold much of anything. You have direct access to the downpipe. Quite nice. So I saved this part just for you guys. Bam. That was actually like fairly easy to take out. Putting back in, I legitimately don't think it's going to be that bad. Let's do it. Let's put it in. Now hold on, Robbie. We gotta actually put the OEM O2 sensors from the original downpipe onto the new CATLESS downpipe. So that's exactly what I'm doing here, except the camera fell, so you're just seeing me take a 22mm wrench and unscrewing very, very carefully the two O2 sensors on the OEM downpipe. It was actually super easy. And just look at the size difference. This is absolutely unreal, and I have a feeling this is going to sound amazing. So if you own a 2014 or newer BMW N55, just understand, you don't have to take off any wheels. Matter of fact, like, you can see, obviously I'm dirty, but like nowhere near as hard as I thought it was gonna be. Granted, I haven't put it back in yet, so there's that part. But just take off that subframe plate, like the support plate. It doesn't hurt anything. Matter of fact, you're still safe, and you just have to torque it to like about 53 to 55 foot-pounds each screw over there afterwards, which isn't a big deal. But you have full access to that downpipe. Like, it's one. My N54 was 2, and it sucked. Just to give you an idea, it took me about an hour to take all that stuff out. Literally everything. So let's go ahead and try and put it back in. I'll flip to the camera when we got all of it back in at least. And wow, this was such an easy job. We're now putting stuff back together. That took me 20 minutes to get the downpipe in. This was the easiest downpipe install I've ever done. Oh wait, I can't run it because the battery's not on, and I'm not about to put the battery on to take it off again. So I'm not gonna be a dick this time and, you know, start up with just the downpipe. So I got everything in, everything buttoned down on the bottom, and now it's just really time to get the battery plugged back in. So I'm gonna do this, and then we're gonna start it up, and you know, I have a feeling it's gonna be a little bit louder, but it won't be so loud. Believe it or not, okay, so when I put the N54 downpipes in, it was loud, but the space filled up quickly. That downpipe, in my opinion, could have been so much bigger. It went to a 4.5 inch to, I think, 2.5 to 3 inch, maybe 2 3/4 of an inch. But it's just weird because like the downpipe was so much smaller, but that didn't have the cat to it. So I don't know. Anyways, it wasn't even that hard to put in. It was actually not even hard to get out. So N55 and B58, I heard, perfect for doing downpipes. But without further ado, let's just go ahead and get this done and start it up. The VRSF 4-inch CATLESS downpipe with a BORLA exhaust. That is so fucking loud. Holy shit. Oh my god. I mean, I guess let's take it for a spin. It is loud. Damn. Bro, this is not real. This is a stock tune. There's now a downpipe and an exhaust. That's it. Holy shit. Oh my god, there's even burbles already. This car just became legendary. The sound of it is unmatched to any other N55 I've ever heard. Some people even say it sounds like a diesel. But in my opinion, it just sounds like a pure German car, like it was supposed to. So, we got the VRSF downpipe in with the BORLA ATAK exhaust. I never did a cold start. I will say a cold start when I'm working at 5 a.m. or like 6 a.m. whatever and leave, it is obnoxious. I love it though, but it's obnoxious, especially when the garage is so small, which you're about to see. Like obviously, like it's basically harmonizing all the tunes in a little box. Like this thing is so incredibly loud. Just check it out. Louder. This is just the cold start. It lasts for about like 20 seconds, but it's a good 20 seconds. So imagine this at like 5:50 a.m. This is by far the loudest and best sounding car I've ever had. And it's actually really cool now because now I can actually use my paddle shifters and have some decent burbles. This is stock tune, by the way. There's nothing done to the ECU or TCU or any of the other CUs there are. So I'm very happy. Now, the goal is to get MHD and implement an intercooler. The only thing is I'm very scared of putting an intercooler in just because of it being the matter of cutting the fan shroud, which I'm not even, I did it one time and that was with an N54. This is with a newer BMW and an N55, so completely different, or at least that's what I'm thinking it is. Now, on top of that, the MHD actually has really cool settings that you can put to this. So it's not just a matter of like my N54, I did a stage 2 plus and it was a little bit faster, had burbles, and it sounded good. This one, you could do really cool launch controls that are not just from what the BMW is programmed with, but you could do nice burbles, you could do anti-lag, which is really cool. So I think it's just a matter of pressing one of these buttons and then you floor it and then it goes, okay. So anyways, it's cool. So that's one of my goals, but you know, we have to get there. And the thing is, if I do that, if I do like stage 1, it's not bad, but I really would love to do stage 2 since I already have a downpipe installed. Now, this car, I'll be honest with you, has 58,000, almost 59,000 miles on it. So with that being said, I also had plans of putting coil packs and spark plugs in here, but in total of all that, I'm looking at around $1,700 just to get all that stuff, and I'm just like, ooh. So we'll see. Now, one thing that I absolutely love, you guys can probably see this, it's in sport mode already, but if I put this controlled to Sport Plus, this actually allows it to be more burbly. And it sounds great. Obviously, it's not great for gas mileage, but it sounds amazing. Like, watch, ready? Okay, this is just... That's stock, man. There's no burble tune or anything on this. It's insane. God, it sounds so good. Like, ready? Watch this. I'm doing this in a safe place. There's no people around. Don't recommend doing this. But this, I'm rolling at a 40. This thing sounds great, right? It just sounds so good. Like, it's beautiful.